It's time for the Las Vegas Sportsline. Brought to you by the Golden Nugget with sports director Tony Miller.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
Here we go. It's the Friday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline. I'm Dave Cokin. Teddy Covers is here. Kelly Stewart later in the show, along with Aaron Kesler from the Golden Nugget. It is our Golden Nugget Friday edition. Wait till we tell you about the leader in the Ultimate Football Challenge at the Golden Nugget. His numbers through 49, I guess it's 7, is it 56? 49 plays. They're unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wait, we'll tell you about that in just a little bit. All right, Teddy, let's talk first about last night, because the Steelers, they were impressive against Carolina last night. So have the Steelers now moved off the list of sort of contenders and onto the list of real contenders?
Well, let's start with the let's not overreact part of the equation, because I think Carolina is going to be just fine. I think Pittsburgh was always in the contenders list and remains in the contenders list despite their slow start. And when you look at these Thursday night games, it's very clear when the road team isn't taking a bus ride to get to the game, they're having problems.
It's been pretty lopsided this year.
Very lopsided. I mean, you've also seen the money be consistently wrong on Thursday nights. 4 weeks in a row now where, the wise guys are out. The sharp money's coming in. And I mean, wrong side losers. And Carolina, they scored the first touchdown last night. And I believe they scored the last touchdown as well. In between.
Yeah, they just got killed in between. They had one pretty good drive where they got into the end zone. McCaffrey got it into the end zone and kind of thought at that time, well, maybe this will be a football game. And then Pittsburgh just said, get out of here.
And the Steelers' offense, what did Big Ben say? And I was thinking, because he said the same kind of thing that Aaron Rodgers said a few years ago. Relax, RELAX, relax. We're going to be okay. They were 1-2-1 at the time. And him saying that, the team relaxed. And they've won and covered every game since.
And I still want to go back because it's one play. But I thought it was just such a huge play, and I think it's had an impact. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I think one play has had a really big impact on just the overall mental health of this team. And that was the play last week when Roethlisberger had to go off the field with what looked like an injury. He turned out to be okay. But on a 3rd and long at their own, 2-yard line, Joshua Dobbs, rather than just handing the ball off, is a sign, go ahead, make a throw. He makes a throw down the field, they get a first down.
Yep.
And I thought that just sent a subtle, if you will, signal to the team. I got a lot of confidence in everybody in this football team. And that's a great move by Tomlin, and I think it's had an impact because since that play, they've been really strong. And I know it sounds stupid to kind of put it all in one play, but to me it was just one of those buy signs on a team that you get that, boy, this coach really believes in these guys, and they're responding.
And that's the kind of thing that you only get from watching the games and being familiar with the teams. If you're trying to find that kind of a buy sign through statistical analysis,
can't do it.
Good luck. Play your percentages. But that's the kind of thing that astute handicappers can and will take advantage of. Hopefully you cashed a ticket on the Steelers last night.
The Golden Knights. 5 goals in one game. It has been a problem for this team putting the puck in the net, but they got some offense going last night against Ottawa. They did blow a lead, but then had the intestinal fortitude to dig in after they'd blown the lead. Got another goal out of that fourth line, Carrier, with a really nice goal last night. They put them back on top, and they get the win over Ottawa. It was a needed 2 points for the Golden Knights. They needed to get something done on the road. Hopefully this is a positive sign for them, and they carry it forward to Montreal on the rest of this trip.
Well, it's the game they're supposed to win.
Yep.
They were minus 160 on the road at Ottawa. Ottawa's bad. You have to get healthy against your bad teams, and Vegas took care of business in that regard last night.
Yeah, they did. And one thing I like about this team, and look, they're not what they were last year. It's as simple as that. But I love it that the fourth line is still called the fourth line, even though it's clearly not the fourth line. That Reeves, Carrier, and Belmore line, that's a good line. I mean, they're not tremendously talented, but boy, do they dig in and skate hard and hit. And they're the type of team of line And I'm glad he's kept them together because it works. They're the type of line that can spark the rest of the team because they are not going to get out-hustled ever when they're on the ice.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is really the first time that I've heard you say that clearly. You're saying this Golden Knights team is nowhere
they're just
near.
Not.
And why? What's the difference?
I actually think it's more above the shoulders than anything else. I thought last year everything went right for them. I hate to say that it was a galvanizing thing, but the October 1st tragedy in this town, and then the Golden Knights becoming the face of the city. They really became the face of the city. It was just this tremendous motivating force for them that never went away. Plus the fact that they had a gigantic chip on their shoulder the entire season. They called themselves the Misfits. Mm-hmm. They were players that nobody else wanted. Well,
now somebody wants them.
Yeah, now somebody wants them, and they're not going to sneak up on anybody this year.
Sure.
I think they've still got a pretty big home ice advantage because that place is noisy, and it's electric every game.
And it's not just because it's noisy and electric. It's also because when opposing teams come to town, this isn't Edmonton,
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's a fun town.
Everybody wants to come to Las Vegas.
Absolutely. And you're going to see teams, and we saw it a lot last year where teams just didn't have that focus right from the opening when the puck dropped.
But this year on the road, mm-hmm. Last year it was the cute little Golden Knights are coming to town.
Right.
This year it's the Stanley Cup finalists, Golden Knights that are coming to town, and everybody's really serious about it. Now, Vegas is a big game mm-hmm. for the home team.
Sure.
And I don't know if the talent level is quite there to be able to withstand that. My power ratings going into this week had them 24th out of 31 teams. So they've got some improving to do. They'll get better when Schmidt returns shortly from his suspension. He's a big key on the blue line, but it's just not as good a team as last year's.
Sure, and conceptually, you've just stated a case for how to bet the Vegas Golden Knights. You're like, this is not a team we want on the highway.
No.
This is a team that has a potential to continue making you money playing in home games. So bookmakers beware in that regard.
Anyway, good night for the Golden Knights. Good night for the Steelers. Let's find out who might have good nights tonight with our Friday MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put them fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
I want to get you up to speed on an event. This is a 3-day event that starts November 12th and runs through November 14th at MJ Christensen in Boca Park. If you've got old jewelry, like the state jewelry, gold, silver, fine jewelry, watches, diamonds, MJ is hosting a huge 3-day estate buying event that will provide immediate payment for your valuables. Again, this is a 3-day event, November 12th through the 14th. Sell your old and tired. And while you're there, you might just find the perfect new piece of jewelry or watch at MJ Christensen. Website's mjchristensen.com. Check out their Facebook page as well and visit the store at Boca Park. So we go to tonight. We're going to save a monster game in the Mountain West. Fresno State, Boise State's our marquee matchup. Let's start with an early college basketball game. Tips at 3 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network. It is Wichita State and Providence. And sometimes the grass isn't always greener. Wichita State basically could punch their automatic ticket to the NCAA tournament every year while ruling the roost in the Missouri Valley Conference. I think life's going to be a lot different for them in a much tougher league. Now, of course, this isn't league play, but they've got some ambitious non-conference games, and Providence College is one of them. It's the Wichita State team that doesn't appear to be as good as they were last year. And for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at Wichita State maybe being in one of the minor tournaments this year, Teddy.
Wow, and that's a big statement for a program that's been a perennial contender to, Sweet 16, we'll say.
But they're up against better competition once January rolls around and you're playing conference games. I mean, there's no more Valparaiso, Valpo actually replaced them, so that was a bad example. But the teams in that conference that just aren't that good, they're facing some iron every night now.
Sure, and they're facing iron tonight. We've seen money pour in on Providence again. Wichita in the opener, and I don't do I do very little with college basketball through the month of November. As we get into December, post Thanksgiving, I'll put a lot more time and effort into it. But you know how this month is. It's crazy. Nobody sleeps anyway, and doing college hoops in addition to everything else to me is insane. But even in not doing college hoops at a serious level right now, it's still Wichita State's performance in the opener reverberated. And the markets have made a strong statement today that Wichita State isn't just down; they're way down. I mean, the Friars opened; they were 4-point chalk. They're 8-point chalk
up
at some spots.
Yeah, it's going way up. And Ed Cooley's got himself what is now a traditionally strong program at Providence College. Ed Cooley's a terrific college basketball coach. He's really good.
Of course, it's worth noting, even though Providence is listed on the bottom, they are not a home team in this game. These games are being played at Alumni Hall in Annapolis, Maryland.
Arkansas and Texas matchup, and I think Shaka Smart U might be ready to start making some serious noise nationally. He's got his players at the school now. I mean, these are Shaka's recruits for the most part, and I think you're going to start to see dividends get paid. Arkansas, okay, but probably not at this level. Now, it might take some time for Texas to really get sharp, but Teddy, they're a program that I think has a chance to be playing. I think they could be playing in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament this year, at least.
Sure. I mean, the potential's been there.
Yeah.
For Texas to be a perennial contender. Worth noting another game where the team listed on the bottom isn't playing at home. What do you know about this court in Fort Bliss, Texas?
I don't know where Fort Bliss is, but wherever it is, there's going to be more Texas fans than Arkansas fans.
Sure, but it's not a court that they're practicing on or would necessarily feel comfortable at.
And by the way, that is not named for Dave Bliss. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Nothing's named for Dave Bliss.
No. Switching to football, a big number on this game, but not as big as it was, interestingly enough. As bad as Louisville has been, and they have been extraordinarily awful this season, and as electrifying as the Syracuse offense has been with whoever Dino Babers wants to put on the field at quarterback, he's got a couple of good ones there. The experienced kid, whose name just slipped my mind for some reason, and DeVito, a very exciting young quarterback who's their QB of the future.
You're talking
Dungy,
about.
I think Syracuse is explosive. Now, why isn't this line going up? Because the ticket count is a blowout on the Syracuse side, and yet the line isn't going up. I don't know about sharp money showing in Louisville. Can you call it sharp money? Hey, boy. I know Syracuse is a look ahead next week. They're playing in the Bronx against Notre Dame, and that's a huge game. But even looking ahead, I don't want any part of Louisville. They stink, and I don't think they care.
Louisville is a team that I'm fascinated to know who's betting on them, because someone's betting on them.
I know.
And I'm fascinated to hear their rationale, because one thing, I mean, we saw Syracuse do something last week that, we haven't seen a lot of huge blowout wins in the Babers era. That being said, last week they had a chance to really stomp on someone, and Babers kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit.
Which you didn't do back at Bowling Green.
No,
Bowling Green, it's like, okay, we got a chance to kill you, we're going to.
Yeah, and last week, I watched the game. It was not a full-on pedal to the metal type of contest, and maybe there's some out there that think this game might not be the same way, because really, Syracuse should be able to name the score.
Oh, I know.
But if they want to knock off the undefeated Fighting Irish, maybe you leave something in the tank. But national TV game at home on a Friday night,
It should be exciting for them.
It should be rocking in there, and it's not a stadium that rocks all the time.
No, it's a basket. Let's face it.
It's a Carrier Dome.
It's the Carrier Dome. It's a basketball building, and that place is electric for basketball, not so much for football. Louisville, though, not with my money.
They're not bettable.
No. Celtics and Jazz will match up in the ESPN NBA Friday night game. I know the Celtics. Oh, what's wrong with the Celtics? Nothing. It's November. These games don't matter. I'm sorry, but that's the way I look at the NBA. These games just don't matter unless you're talking about wins and losses for seeding purposes later on. The Celtics want to play their best basketball in April. They don't care about now. They're like some of the other top teams out there who are just, we got to play these 82 games, so we will. But we're, so they're not living up to billing. The Jazz are in a different situation because it's the Western Conference, and there you're going to have to fight and scratch and claw if you're not one of the top teams to get to the playoffs. So to me, these games are bigger in November for teams in the middle of the Western Conference than they are for clear-cut playoff teams in the East.